An American imprisoned in Iran is appealing to U.S. President Joe Biden to bring him and other U.S. citizens back home. In a letter addressed to the U.S. President, Siamak Namazi says that he's going on a 7-day hunger strike, 1 day for each year he was left out of a 2016 prisoner swap between the United States and Iran. Namazi is one of the 3 Americans who still remains in detention in Iran. He was arrested in 2015 on espionage-related charges while visiting Iran and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Namazi, who is now 51 years old, informed Biden that he holds the title of the longest-held Iranian-American hostage in history. According to Namazi's lawyer, Siamak, who remains behind bars in Iran's notorious Evin prison, has endured prolonged solitary confinement, denial of access to medical care, and physical torture. In one of the statements addressed to the U.S. President, Namazi says, quote, "All I want, sir, is 1 minute of your day's time for the next 7 days devoted to thinking about the tribulations of the U.S. hostages in Iran." He continues by writing, "Just a single minute of your time for each year of my life that I lost in Evin prison after the U.S. government could have saved me, but did not." Washington, meanwhile, has said that it remains committed to securing the freedom of Siamak Namazi and it is constantly working to bring him home along with other U.S. citizens detained in Iran. The U.S. does not have diplomatic relations with the Iranian regime, and tensions between Tehran and the West have further deteriorated in the wake of the brutal crackdown against protests in Iran and the execution of protesters. For more on this, I'm joined from Washington, D.C. by Jason Brodsky. He's a Middle East analyst and policy director at United Against Nuclear Iran. Jason, thank you so much for joining us. This letter by Siamak Namazi to President Joe Biden, how effective will it be?
It's great to be with you. I think you can really read and see the pain that comes through in this letter from Siamak Namazi, who is the longest-serving American hostage in Iran. It's a travesty that he has been detained for this long. I think it will be effective in getting the attention of the White House and the U.S. administration, but at the end of the day, the ball is in the court of the Iranian regime. They are the ones who have the agency to free him, and that is who we have to concentrate on in terms of getting him home.
Yeah, and it's going to be very difficult considering the fact that on the one hand, these so-called nuclear negotiations started once again when President Biden took office, but on the other hand, at least on the surface, it seems like the nuclear talks are dead and there isn't any form of communication between the United States and Iran, and the fate of these political prisoners are really in dire strait at this point.
Yes, but I think that there is a way to engage in these kinds of negotiations irrespective of nuclear diplomacy. Let's remember that when the Trump administration was in office, they successfully negotiated the releases of 2 U.S. hostages in Iran, Michael White and Shi Wang. So I think that these kinds of talks are possible, even without nuclear diplomacy and even without full diplomatic relations with the Islamic Republic. The United States is protecting power in Iran as Switzerland, and we use their good offices there. And that's not to mention that we have friends in the Gulf like Oman and Qatar, who are also intermediaries with these situations.
Right, exactly. Well said. Jason, thank you so much for joining us on WION, and we hope to have you back very soon.
Thank you.